Hello, BookTube. This is Weekly Reads. I've had a very mixed reading week. The start of my reading week was absolutely glorious. I read the last 19 volumes of Fullmetal Alchemist by Hiromu Arakawa. Fullmetal Alchemist is the story of the Elric brothers, Edward and Alphonse. They are two prodigy alchemists who attempt human transmutation, an alchemical operation that uses humans as a core ingredient, or at least it's alchemy using humans. Their goal is to resurrect their dead mother. The transmutation fails, and the brothers are grievously mutilated in consequence. Edward loses a leg, Alphonse loses his body. To save Alphonse's life, Edward sacrifices an arm to transcribe Alphonse's soul onto a suit of armor. A year later, and with automail prosthetics that allow full functionality, Edward becomes a state alchemist in the Amestrian military. The brothers then travel around Amestris, searching for the Philosopher's Stone, an alchemical artifact reputed to be able to bypass the law of equivalent exchange within the system of alchemy. The amount of what you're seeking to produce through a transmutation must be equaled by what you're sacrificing. Eventually, the brothers discover the Philosopher's Stone and the secret behind its manufacture. They also stumble upon a long-running conspiracy that goes to the very foundations, literally, of Amestris, that sees both brothers and a number of their allies as key ingredients, human sacrifices for the promised day. The main antagonists of Fullmetal Alchemist are the homunculi, a cadre of artificial humans led by a homunculus known as Father, who seeks to basically replicate a massive human transmutation in Amestris that would allow him to consume God. I absolutely loved every moment I spent with this book, or this series, really. There are 27 volumes. I had an absolute blast reading it. It was just glorious. So yeah, I already did a video discussion of Fullmetal Alchemist earlier this week, so if you would like to do check it out. But it was just the best 4 days of reading I've had in quite a while. I just loved it. Now, the rest of my reading week was rather disappointing. I started off with Frisk by Dennis Cooper. This is a novel about a character named Dennis, who's an author insert. I'm hoping this is an autofiction. Oh, I am hoping this is not autofiction. Who is a gay man who has very strong kinks on the sadomasochistic side. I mean, on the extreme end of the sadomasochistic side. He rather likes snuff pornography. And gradually, as the novel progresses, he wants to would like to engage in kinks along those lines. More extreme, more violent, more murderous sexual experiences until he may or may not become a serial killer. And he sends letters to an ex-lover and said ex-lover's younger brother, who was also an ex-lover, detailing his crimes, and then they go and try to figure out what's going on. I hated this book. I picked it for Shorty September. One of the prompts was a work written or set in the 70s and 80s, which this is, and it was written in, or it was published in the 90s. But it did match, I think, unreliable narrator, and certainly a book I would regret, and I regretted it. It's terrible. The structure makes no sense. The narrator, it's like the beginning of the book doesn't seem to have the same narrator as later in the book. The writing is just atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. So yeah, I bailed. And I anyway. But it got me thinking about why I have this book. I mean, I picked this up in 2006 on the strength of having read, I think, Wrong and Closer by Dennis Cooper, which I don't quite remember. I mean, it's been forever since I've read them. But I think there was a period when I was younger, in my early 20s and maybe late teens as well, where I was hungering for gay fiction, and anything would do. And as I've gotten older, I think my patience for bad writing or has gotten a lot less. That I'm not terribly patient with it. So but maybe I ought to revisit the other Dennis Coopers I've got, just to be sure. If this was just a bad book, or if my tastes have changed to where Dennis Cooper is no longer for me. Next up is Shark by Dean Crawford. This is one of the animal series from Reaction Books, a series that looks at various animals through biology, natural history, cultural criticism, interactions with people, with humans, economic impact of the animals, what have you. I liked Shark. I didn't love it. It was mediocre. There's a thing with some of the animals featured that they are maligned by humans, and the author defends the animal in question, and that defense sometimes makes the reading have a sort of a thrust to it, which is quite effective. I mean, Richard Jones in Wasp does a very good job of defending the honor of the Wasp. I think here in Shark that it was over defensive. It was a little too much defense and not enough sort of the shark on its own. And so a lot of the cultural criticism featured was very much looking at the shark through that sort of maligned nature. And so, yeah, I think after reading this that I'm not going to actively collect the animal series from Reaction Books. I'll just maybe pick up animals that I'm particularly interested in, or look for more in-depth studies of the animals, both biologically and culturally, and see if that might work a bit more. And finally, I read The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie for both Shorty September and Dictember. The Murder of Roger Ackroyd is one of Agatha Christie's most famous novels. It's about Poirot in retirement, the small village that he has retired to. One of the two wealthy residents is murdered after a dinner party. Um, and the police initially suspect the murdered man's adoptive son. Poirot teams up with the village doctor to figure out what happened at the behest of the murdered man's niece, Roger, the murder victim obviously is Roger Ackroyd, who believes that um, her adoptive cousin and fiance didn't do it. And the murder of Roger Ackroyd is interesting. Um, and it does tick a number of boxes for Shorty September, not only the murder mystery one, but also the unreliable narrator. Um, I didn't like it. Um, it's been a while since I've read it. I read it the first time when I was 13 or 14. I checked it out from the library of my junior high school and read it, and I don't remember much about it, although I was rather shocked by the ending. But this reread, I thought, I don't think Agatha Christie's really all that great at first person narrators. Or it could just be this is a case where I can definitely sense that sort of reptilian nature to some of her characters that, say, Steve Donahue and others have noticed when they've read Agatha Christie for March Mystery Madness or whenever they pull down a copy of Agatha Christie's work. So I was rather disappointed because I didn't particularly like it. So anyway. Now, what I will be reading this coming reading week is a work of history and a work of biography, which I house with my history. So first up, during the weekend, I will be reading Survivors, Children's Lives After the Holocaust by Rebecca Clifford. This was one of the finalists for last year's Kindle History Prize, and I'm working my way through reading the finalists this year, from last year. So this is the second one. I will get to the ultimate winner of last year's Kindle History Prize in October. But for now, I'll be reading Survivors, and I'm quite looking forward to it. And I will also be reading The Queen by Matthew Dennison. This is a biography of Elizabeth II, who died yesterday. And I've been meaning to get to this book for a while, and no time like the present to get to it. So very much looking forward to this. I've wanted to get to this for a while. So that's my reading plans for next week. Before I sign off for the weekend, a bit of plans for next week, as well as some kind of room updates. First, the room update. If you notice behind me, I had for most of this week and some of last week books up here on this little upper part of my bookcase. I moved those books that were here over here because this morning when I was getting Survivors off of the bookcase, the two books that were kind of like on the edge, Cuba and Vanguard, ended up tipping over onto my September book haul. And I'm thinking, and so I put those two back up, and Cuba was still leaning, so I'm like, I really should move them. So I went ahead and cleared off the general nonfiction from this bookcase right here, and just moved the history books that were up here down there. And then I put the general nonfiction with the general genre fiction. Although I'm thinking I might go ahead and just box them up because there's a possibility we're going to be moving. Maybe, I don't know for sure. So I might just box them up and Yeah, one last thing I would need to box up, and it is time to move. But anyway, moving on to video plans next week. I'm going to do quite a few tags. I know for sure. I know there's one that Kitty Books did that I want to do. And I keep forgetting to transcribe the questions. And I would like to try a discussion video, but I haven't been successful with discussion videos. But I do want to sort of engage with um, a number of booktubers focusing on their favorite authors in 2023 and whether or not I, in fact, have any favorite authors. So that would be something interesting. And of course, I will also be doing weekly reads on Friday. So that's about all I've got for this week. So thank you, BookTube. Have a great evening and weekend, and I will see you on Monday. So until then, thank you and stay safe.